Hello and welcome back. I'm Dr. Lori Williams, and today I want to talk to you about the step-by-step process that I take my clients through to help them to heal themselves on all levels. So when we're looking at healing, we're not just looking at like physical healing. It's physical, mental, emotional, all the above. And these 4 steps cover all of that. So first and foremost, you don't have to know what the trigger, or you don't have to know what the trauma is. You can actually use your triggers to help you to heal. And honestly, in my experience with my clients, this is definitely the most effective way, is to pay attention to your triggers. So this is step number 1. Pay attention to what triggers you, what makes you angry, what gives you, so angry is like the emotional aspect, or part of it anyway. We'll go deeper into that into step 2. But the trigger part of it, it's going to make you have an emotional response. You could have a physical response. You could have a mental response. So the emotional, obviously there's going to be some emotions. It could be sadness. It could be anger. It could be frustration. You could have a physical response. You could have like heart palpitations or like symptoms of anxiety. Those are very, very common physical symptoms. And then you also could have the mental thing, where it's essentially we just keep thinking over it, like, well, how could I have done this different, or why would this person do this to me, or all of those kinds of things. So those are mental triggers. So you want to pay attention to all 3 of those things. The next step is to go deeper into the emotional aspect of it. So, okay, let's say your trigger, you knew you were angry through through step 1. What other emotions were present? So one thing that I always teach is anger is a side effect emotion. It's not necessarily the root or the core emotion. A lot of the times when you're feeling anger, actually what you're feeling is sadness or hurt, or maybe you're let down, or, you know, whatever it is. It could be frustration. Anger usually is just how that emotion comes through. It's not the actual core emotion. So it's very important to get down to the core emotion. So if you're angry, were you feeling sad? Were you feeling hurt? Were you feeling misunderstood, frustrated? What was that core, what all the emotions that were coming up? I want you to be very, very aware of all these emotions. The next thing to do is to feel the emotions. This is the hard part. This is the part that nobody wants to do, because let's be honest, it sucks. It sucks to have to feel these things. In our society, we are taught that we need to be happy all the time. We need to be positive. We need to be, you know, our sunny ray everywhere we go. We need to, you know, sprinkle fairy dust everywhere we go. And that honestly just is not true. We have, as human beings, have over 500 different emotions, and we have them to be able to feel them. So as uncomfortable as it may be, it's very, very important that you give yourself the time and the space to be able to sit with these emotions and actually feel them. I do have some good news on this. On average, for your emotion to peak, it usually only takes about 90 seconds. So if you can sit there and just feel the emotion for 90 seconds. Let's say, for an example, you're feeling angry for 90 seconds. That anger, after 90 seconds, is going to start to dissipate. It's going to start to either change completely or at least just soften. So it's easier to be able to recognize, or to deal with. It's easier to be able to hold on to it. Then the next thing that you want to do is you want to let it go. You want to, I always ask my clients the question, are you choosing to hold on to this? And obviously you don't choose to hold on to anger. So what do you choose to hold on to? I choose to hold on to the lesson that I've learned through this. And start to list the lessons so that you can be grateful. You kind of shift the energy to a gratitude energy rather than from that hurt perspective. It could just be, you know, I understand that going through this situation with, you know, another person, it has hurt me, and I'm not going to put myself in that situation with that person to allow them to continue to hurt me time and time again, especially if it's not the first time that you've been in that situation. What all of this does is allows you to choose how you're going to show up differently, how you're going to not suppress your emotions, but actually feel them and give them time to process. And it's not the processing part takes, or could potentially take, a longer time. And don't put a time frame on this. Just allow yourself to feel whatever it is that you're feeling. It's almost like going through the processes of grief. Now, grief, it comes in waves. You can be totally fine 1 minute and you can be a crying mess the next minute. Neither of those is wrong. It's all part of the processing. So if you have had a falling out with either a coworker or a friend or a family member, whatever the situation is, or just a disagreement with someone, allow yourself to process all those emotions as well. The last tip that I have, as far as going through the step-by-step process, is to make sure that you are keeping your focus on what you can do different. How can I show up differently? How can I manage the situation differently? How can I not allow myself to be in this situation? How can I learn the lesson, essentially? What do I need to do different? Do I need to have a boundary? Do I need to stop, having this belief that other people are going to treat me the way that I treat them? Is there patterns that I need to be able to look at and to change those patterns so that I can start showing up in my life, in my work, and my relationships completely different? Essentially, that's the process. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So allow yourself to go through the steps as you feel emotionally available to do so. And please, 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 if you don't listen to anything else that I say, please do not beat yourself up about this. This is not a place for you to put blame and shame on yourself. The world will do that enough for you. You don't need to do that to yourself. Speak to yourself in kindness. Stop doing the healing process if you need to for a while. If you need to step away from it because it's just too heavy, then allow yourself to do that. It's okay to meet yourself where you are. And in fact, you need to do that. You need to be your biggest support through all this. You have the power and the ability to 100% heal yourself from anything, any situation that has ever or will ever happen in your life. And essentially, it comes down to these processes. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you back here next time.